Okay, so we're gonna try this again. We are at the park, the little park, not the bigger park, where there's a lot more people. This one, there are currently 2 other cars in the parking lot, and it looks like one of them is at the dog park. So the other could very well be walking in the neighborhood. I don't know. They could be very well walking on this trail. I don't know. We'll find out when we pass them or not, right? So yeah, I already started a spiel and then changed my mind and was just going to focus on walking and worry about the video when I get back to the car. But then the picture I took with Ziva, I kind of like, of being out on the walk. So I feel like it's misleading if I use that picture and we're not walking. Not that it matters, but whatever. Yeah, so everybody has pooped now, so hopefully that is not a further interruption. Although any of the 3 is not above going again. So, and we have braided the leash almost completely down, so that's cool. And when I stop up here in a few feet to leave the doggy bag at the start of this back section, I always leave it by the first tree or last tree, however you're looking at it, so I remember exactly where it is, and don't forget to pick it up. We're sniffing. Ziva sniffs everything, but especially when, it's also kind of a dragging her feet thing because she doesn't like the real big walks, and this one's usually over a mile. She'll be fine. But yeah, when we go to the cemetery, as soon as we get close to the car, she starts going back to the car. So this one takes a bit longer before she starts pulling me in that direction. So yeah. Okay, so the puppy drama is confirmed scam. And my sister-in-law researched a couple little things and found surprisingly only one post on Facebook about it being a scam. I'm gonna have to fix these leashes in a second because she don't like it. She likes to meander way behind everybody, and this one pulls her along faster than she wants to go because the leash is all tied up. So here is our tree, so let me untangle them and then I guess get back to this. Okay, we are untangled, and have left our little bag back there behind so we can find it on the way back. A couple puddles up here, so zippity, come on. She can definitely walk a lot further than she acts like, but she is stubborn. So, where's she at? I don't know. Anyway, and we're meandering today because I'm going to try to make this. We're doing the walk and also tracking the miles, so yeah. But yes, it's a confirmed scam, and my sister-in-law was finding out information about that, and sending it to them and telling them to quit going along with this, but she's in Oklahoma, so they don't have to listen to her, right? And granted, they're 64 and 71 to 72, so they can do whatever they want anyway, right? They just have the tendency to make bad decisions. And yeah, sorry, I have a hangnail that I just discovered. So yeah, anyway, I went in last night to figure out what the drama was on it, and I don't even know where the start point is anymore. It's because we got left out of a lot of what was going on with it. They just were saying puppy, and my mom has been obsessively looking at puppies since Holly died, right? So, like, you know, I've talked about the morning of, or the morning after she died. Like, she died like around 7 o'clock on New Year's Day. And I woke up at like 5:30, I think, to run to the bathroom the next morning. And come on, Zeve. And I've talked about this before. Like, I was walking back to my room from the bathroom, and I saw like this little puff, and I was staring at it, and it's like it kind of took the form of a puppy, and it was kind of a weird experience, right? My initial reaction was to kick it because it wasn't supposed to be there. But then I realized, you know, I adjusted and thought it puppy. And it's like, it's clearly not there. And yet I am seeing this little puffball. And later that day, not even full 24 hours after my dad's dog dies, my mom is shopping for puppies. So yeah, she's been obsessing over it for a while. So it was kind of open for that to go poorly, right? And I don't even know how long she was talking to this person claiming to be the breeder, but it would be nice if I didn't have to keep stepping over your leash, dude. She's gonna try to tie me in a knot. But yeah, like there was something with a $200 deposit. There was something about $500 for shipping, and then my mom didn't want to do that, so the lady was going to pay half, which all of this right there says scam, right? Because Sheltie puppy, purebred, is going to cost a lot more than, you know, $500-$700. So yeah, and then it's like there just kept being little things that were issues with what they were talking about. Like yesterday, they finally got the message that the puppy shipping process had been started, and was going to be there at 5:30 yesterday, right? And then 5:30 rolls around, and then there's a message saying it can't begin until they have given another $300 for. I found the other person there on the gazebo. Hopefully not with a dog, but I mean that only matters if mine see it. But we are going in that direction, so still several yards up there though. But yeah, so then there's this thing with the shipping company needs an extra $300, and you know, then my dad's texting with them, and I think they knew he was all kind of chaotic because he doesn't sound real coherent when he's talking anyway, much like me at times. But yeah, if I'm writing it down, I can usually keep a better thought than I speak. They're going the other way. Or they're going, yeah, I think they're venturing into the woods. Anyway, so, you know, scammers, I mean, they do what they can to get you wound up, right? And to keep you confused so you can't make sense of what's going on, right? And so they can, you know, while you're not thinking coherently, that's when you're going to make the worst decisions, right? So, DVD. Just step over it again. So yeah. So I go in there at like 9:30, 10 o'clock to see what's going on with that. And my mom's like, what would you do? It's like, I said, honestly, it feels like a bit of a scam since there's like so many variables that keep changing. I said, I wouldn't do anything if they can't send you a picture of the puppy, because why would a shipping company want the responsibility of holding a puppy hostage. And the shipping company claimed the dog was with a nanny. It's like, okay. I did look up the shipping company, and it looks like it actually exists, but it's not very good. And there were a whole, like, all the reviews on there except for one that I saw were 1 star, and it was, shipping arrived weeks after it was said it was supposed to be delivered and all this stuff. There was one that left 5 stars, and I feel like that was probably somebody who worked with the scamming company and was trying to build it back up because all the negative hits. One of those kind of situations, which when I got to looking at what my mom was doing and went to the breeder's page, there was a comment where somebody had said the breeder was wonderful and they absolutely loved their dog and blah, blah, blah. And Mom said, I would like to talk to this person. And so all I did was click the name, and the profile had been started on March 15th of this year. So it's like, yep, you're definitely messing with a scammer. They only had 1 picture, and it's like, yeah. I said, don't go any further. Everything is bad about this anyway. And of course, we, when we're thinking about everything they've done, I mentioned in a video a while back how while they were on their trip, she tried to talk me into... What are you doing? Tried to talk me into printing off a form for this breeder that was signing over custody, apparently. Custody of the dog to my mom from the breeder. So the scammers got my parents' names, phone numbers, address, signature, all this fun stuff, right? So my dad was going back and forth with the guy on the shipping company, and he was getting upset about it, and I took his phone because he started to respond and then he stopped, and it's like, yeah, let me have that. And I don't know if he ever responded to what I sent, but I said the immense amount of 1-star reviews for your shipping company shows that you are at best a scammer, and at worst a really shitty shipping company, or vice versa. I don't know how you want to look at that one. I said, since you cannot provide us a picture of the puppy in your custody and your imaginary nanny cannot do it either, then I am confident this puppy does not actually exist and you will not be getting any more money. I don't remember, there was like something else I threw on there, and then I was like, and by the way, karma is watching you. And I think I hope that's where it ended. That's, where I sent that to my mom, and I showed it to my mom, and then I sent it to my brother. I took a picture of it on my phone and sent it to him. I said, sent from Dad's phone. He appreciated it. My mom laughed, but I don't know. I was on the verge of going a lot heavier than that, and then, at the moment when I was writing it, I was like, oh, well, if it happens to not be completely a scam, which I was pretty confident it was, but at the same time, there's still that little moment of questioning all the same, then it's like, they already signed this paperwork, and I don't want that to be a thing. But now, and thinking of after I sent it and, sat with that point a little bit, it's like, it's totally a scam. There is no way in hell that they're going to try to push for any kind of legal action because my parents stupidly signed this paperwork. Because it's a scam, and that's like illegal, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that's the drama. Official scam. I asked my mom several times in the past couple days if she had identity theft protection. She says she does. So it's like, all right, because you definitely gave them a whole lot of information. So, but yeah, it's like, I feel like a big part of everything they were doing, like they were trying to keep it from us, a lot of the information from us, because we would have caught it sooner. You know, and I mentioned when I was skating, it's like, I said there were 4 scams. This is now 5 that they have gotten into since I've been living there, since 2019. Yeah. So I feel like it's a prime example of, if you are completely locked into your poverty consciousness and scarcity mindset, then the universe is going to provide you the opportunities to piss all your money away, because, you know, that's self-fulfilling prophecy, basically. Yeah. What are we sniffing? Everybody stopped to sniff in the same direction. Let's see how we're at. I am all excited because this morning of course, hold on, I just dropped Zibby's leash. Untangle it from Gidget's ass now. Okay. Y'all, give me a second. Hey. Sorry. I'm like really badly all over the place. So, got the Vulture shirt today. And while I was getting ready, and of course I love these earrings, and they match the pants. Well, I mean, pants don't have crabs on them, but they do have pink and they have skulls, so it works on that. But then I was like thinking about, I should have like Vulture earrings. That would be pretty badass. And hawks, I've thought about that. I found some on Amazon, which I don't really like buying things on Amazon because I'm pretty sure they're not above ripping off smaller businesses, right? And not a fan. So I'd always rather find like somebody who's doing that themselves, right? Making the things. Ew, stay away from that. I don't know if it's mud or just really squishy poop, but ew. But yeah, so the girl that made these, and then I got a bunch of like everything else from the Eklektik shelf gifts page. I sent her a message this morning asking about if she has any vultures or hawks. And she said she loves a challenge, so we've been talking about that. And I'm super stoked because like all the ideas she was throwing out, she said that she was excited when she saw what all I had ordered because we have the same vibe. It's like awesome. So yeah, we've been talking this morning, and I shared my channel. I told her I was sharing her page frequently because I wear the earrings a lot. So yeah. Okay, what else was I going to talk about today? I had something. Oh. It's a leaf, but I thought it was a big ass spider for a second. I just started running across since I happened to have my face in the downward direction. We are finally getting the storm door put back on the house. Finally called in a contractor to do it because my dad wasn't doing it. And it got broken once in the process of him not doing it. So by the time I get home, there should be a storm door on the house. So the best spot to have opened when it's like amazing outside and lets in the best light in that room will finally be back, and I can open the door again. Also, I decided to try this while walking the dogs today because I'm supposed to go do yard work here in a little bit. I'll fancy it up so I can go to yard work. I'll be alright. Obviously, I'll change between now and then, but I knew I wanted to do a video, and oh, I know what it was. Okay, so yes, last night's story wasn't over. The scamming bit is finally, but of course, my mom with her broken arm, and she just can't do everything she wants to do, which she like obsessively does her nails, and like she'll do them and then put on the top coat to make them stay for as long as possible, but then as soon as they start chipping, then she gets like obsessively chipping at them until it's gone, right? And then she's got to take it off the rest of the way, and then she has to do them all over again. And she is not above doing them 2 or 3 times in an evening because she keeps messing them up. So last night she was all in a tight spot because she wanted her nails done, and she could only do one hand. And then I'm not even sure which hand she did, y'all, because I feel like I painted the broken hand, which why would I have to paint the broken hand if she has the other hand not broken, right? It seems like that would be the one or the other one would be the one she would need help on. But I'm not so sure that's how it worked out. Mom's sketchy as fuck, dudes. Anyway, I did not do well on putting the nail polish on the hand, and she bitched the whole way because I was missing spots or whatever. I said, you wanted it on there. And I said, you didn't ask about it. I said, you just kind of demanded. So, deal with what you get, I guess. And so we, so I did the hand that I'm not so sure was the one she should have had available to need nail polish on at that point. But yeah, whatever. Can't prove one way or another. Don't really remember that clearly on the details because I was trying to get out of there in a hurry. I went along with the damn nail polish more so than I should have, I guess, in hindsight, since she didn't ask. Once again, on the assuming that I'm just supposed to go along with whatever bullshit whim she has. So while I'm doing her nails, she makes this big deal about, okay, so my grandma's got this, it's not a life alert thing, but it's kind of
Total
similar.
Distance 1 mile. Total time 47 minutes and 6 seconds. Split pace 47 minutes 6 seconds per mile.
Cool. But yeah, so my grandma's got this thing, and when she hits it, it rings like a doorbell at our house. You know, my mom's got it in her room, so if she's sleeping, she hears it real loud, right? So it goes off when I'm standing there talking to them at one point, before the rest of the scammer drama. And I was in my office, or I went to my office and parked my ass there and had no intention of going over to my grandma's house, right? And my mom called my aunt first because she also is able to hear it. She's got one of the devices as well, since they're just across the yard. It works out pretty decent, right? So, all right, hey, we're going this way now. Turn around. Sorry. Coming this way. Come on. So where the sidewalk ends, it's basically, this big round circle, and then there's the road. So, yeah. Anyway. Steve was like, what? Are we done yet? Come on. Where's the car? So, yeah. My aunt was going over there because she lives closest to see if there was actually a problem or if my grandma accidentally hit it, right? Of course, everybody's in their pajamas and blah, blah, blah. apparently there was an ordeal, and my mom and dad ended up going, scorpion, sorry. So, they go shuffling down the hallway, and I hear my mom say my name, and I ignored it. And she didn't wait, so they continued on, right? So, yeah, they got back, didn't say anything about what had or hadn't happened, and I didn't ask. And, come on, Zeus. That's gonna annoy me. I guess my hair's gonna do whatever it wants again. Anyway, so yeah, that's where that had been, and then we shifted to the scammer shit, right? And then, what happened? Okay. Oh, back to the nails. Right, so I was helping my mom with her nails for some dumb reason, and she says, "Do you know what your dad told your grandma?" And I was like, "What?" And she says, he told her that he apparently said something that wasn't very nice yesterday, and everybody's mad at him, and he might as well put a bullet in his head because nobody would miss him if he was gone, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what did I say? I said, if he tried being, well, you know how I feel about my parents, so it's like, on this case, if he tried being nicer once in a while, I said, this is not a new issue. I said, he told the child, the 8-year-old child, that he did not like her. For what? Just because she was being loud at the moment? And I said, but that's not, I said, he has a history of this. I said, I always hear the complaints of how I never have a kind word to say to him, and yet he's the one that calls me things like dumb bitch. And she said, how long ago was that? I was like, that doesn't matter. I said, in this situation, that absolutely does not matter. I said, because it goes on with his extensive history of bullying children, for that matter. I said, because when I was 8 and started getting bullied at school, he became one of the biggest bullies I had at home. And she was like, she didn't get what I was talking about at that point. I was like, look, I said, when things were going to shit for me in, at school because of the cousin bullshit, I was like, rather than try to figure out what might be happening with the child, I said, he took to name calling and you took to making a big joke of it. I said, you always made a big joke about how I went from daddy's little princess to daddy's little fart head, and nobody gave a shit about what might have happened to me to make me start acting differently, right? So she's rocking the narcissist thing like full force after this, and she said that I need therapy, or like that was part of where it came from. I said, until he gets his ass in therapy or starts taking meds that he keeps getting on and then refusing to take past a certain point, till he's acting like a dick again and nobody wants to be around him, and then something takes him back to that point again. It's like, until he chooses to start doing better for other people and for himself first, you can't do anything with that. It's like, if he doesn't actually want the help, if he just wants the attention for, feeling like nobody likes him, and it's always going to come back to that. He's never going to think first of the bad ways he's treated anybody else. It's always, well, nobody likes me. But at the same time, if you're so convinced that nobody likes you, then you're doing things to ensure that people stay away because, you're not very nice to them. Going back to that friend in January, the derby friend that brought me into her drama just so she could prove her point that she can't have adult friendships. And she had to come after me because I was the one that was consistently making the effort to go up there and see her and skate with her, in spite of it being a 2-hour drive, or just under a 2-hour drive. So it's like, because I was proving to be a contrast to this idea she already had, she had to sabotage the friendship, right? So she brought me into her drama and turned it into a thing about me, and it's like, nope, done there, and so we're no longer friends, which is stupid, because even at the time, it's like, I apologize for my quickness in reacting, because I went full crap. It's like, she attacked, so I was trying to protect myself and attack back. But then it's like, the more I sat with it and thought about it, it's like, that's not on me. It's like, she wanted that. She literally was trying to set it up so that had to happen just so she could prove that she can't have friends. Done with being in people's drama. So, yeah, what else was there on that end? Oh, yeah, so she says, I need therapy. And I just looked at her and I said, I'm not at a point where I would completely disagree with that. But I said, however, until you get your ass in therapy, you are the absolute last person who has any right to tell me that I need therapy. So, yeah. Since I actually came really close to opening my mouth about the YouTube thing, since it's my talk therapy for myself, but I did not. But I did walk out of the room and say, screw your nails, figure it out yourself, and yeah, like, I went and me and the dogs went and shut ourselves in my room, or I shut us in my room, right, or our room, whatever. Dogs can have the space too, damn it. Yeah. But anyway, so there was that. Then, as I was thinking about it last night, I had an idea that I think there was a reason for this idea. Well, obviously there's a reason for it, but it stemmed from when I was talking not that long ago about how I had to disconnect, or how I disconnected from my ex completely, right? So when I knew I was going to be leaving him for good, he didn't know about it for a long time, obviously, because, that would have just made it more difficult for me. And I ain't trying to do that. So I had a little delivery job that I got specifically in this time frame for, yes, to contribute, but mainly to start getting myself ready to get out of there. And so I got this the first thing I did when I got the delivery job was go and set up a bank account that he didn't know about. He had one that I didn't have access to, so absolutely I should be able to have one that he didn't have access to, right? Didn't say anything about it, and since it was a delivery job where I made my hours, I made sure that I was there when he wasn't, and he was there when I wasn't. So that's how we got along this last, several weeks. And so I made sure that I got all the banking mail that showed up, before or while he wasn't there, so he didn't have the opportunity to figure that out. I went and, because mind you, he had it so there were 3 vehicles and only one of them worked at the time, right? So since I needed it for the delivery job stuff, I had to take him to work and drop him off, and then I had to go pick him up later, right? And sometimes I would deliver during the day, sometimes I would just pack my shit, and I went and got a storage unit and started filling that with stuff that I knew he wouldn't notice right away. So like the first stop was the shed because he didn't hardly ever go out into the shed. So it's like I can make stuff disappear in there real easy. And I just kind of worked in, and it was, the biggest thing was I tried to be fair. And, the last little bit, the truck worked fine, but the wheels needed to be, it needed new wheels. And there was like a wire or something that was somehow exposed in something, I don't know. But the car needed a new transmission, the truck needed work on the tires, and he always had excuses for why we couldn't do that. So we had just the SUV, and I had to take him to work and then pick him up from work. So whatever I was doing had to come to a complete halt until I got his ass handled, right? But it worked out great because he couldn't be home without me knowing. And so I went and got a storage unit that was a few miles away from the house, just so I wouldn't have to take any chances on him ending up finding out where it was or anything. I was just trying to be precautious, okay? And yeah, so I got the storage unit, started moving stuff into it, and I told the lady, I was completely honest. I said, I am in a very toxic marriage and I am trying to get out of it. So please do not send anything to the house, and like all this stuff. And, she told me what I had to look forward to as far as, if there was anything I needed to keep track of and all that stuff. Anyway, long story, it's already long. I ended up I don't remember where I was going with that one. Anyway, last night I realized it's like I talked about that recently, that on here, because it was putting the little pin in the thought for me to realize last night that's where I'm at now. It's like we're gonna circle the little gazebo, okay? Or maybe we'll sit here since Ziva's pulling. We'll just sit here for a while. We're 37 minutes in on the video, and I don't know where we're at on the walk, but we'll just stop moving for a while. No big deal. Hey, you wanna come up here? Hey. Doggers. We gotta sniff before we can come up. Hey. Maybe I'll just sit here and let them sniff. Oh, there's a zebra. Okay. So, hey, don't go under there. So I realized last night that I told that story recently, so I would have this idea last night that I should get a storage unit and start moving stuff out. Because that way when I feel like it's really close. Hey, get up here. I feel like it's really close that I'll be getting out of here, and that, like, all the right pieces will come together. This is probably not my best spot. Dudes! Yeah. Just the damn entrance of it then. Okay, so yeah, I feel like it was just kind of putting a pin in the thought so I would come back around to it. It's like I've been getting kind of antsy here lately because it's like I feel like I need to be doing something to show that I'm ready to move in the next direction. And I think that is it. I think getting the storage unit and starting to clear some of my stuff out is my start point on getting ready to get out of there. Because I'll be able to handle the monthly. That'll be fine. Like, well, I have stuff going on right now. I that's a weird stripe. I got pink and a little bit of green, and then more pink, but my green's kind of weird on that side. I want more yellow. And I went over more black on it this way, but oh well. It is what it is. This is what it is. And yeah. So I was thinking about that for a while last night. I was laying in bed, and it's like, all right, what kind of stuff would I be able to do? It's like, well, start off, I would be able to get my stuff out of the shed. Because again, I'm the one that goes out there. You know, my dad will get in there to get the lawnmower out, but that's about the extent of what he does there. So I can, you know, and like yesterday, I got in the other shed and found my bike. It's like, granted, I got this bike when I was 16. It's like my 16th birthday present or something. 15 or 16. But it's still good. I don't ride it near as much. I probably need to get some maintenance on it before I try to go anywhere extensively. And the last time I rode it was with that was the last ex. We took bikes on a camping trip, and okay, we were trying to teach his son how to, we were just riding around and talking about losing the training wheels at some point, but what ended up happening was we were riding around this campground, and there was this hill, and we were going down the hill, and I saw one of his training wheels fell off while he was on this hill. So I was like, you know what? Don't tell him. And he handled it and didn't even realize he'd lost the training wheel. So then, yeah, she's tired. So he went around this curve, and then when he stopped because he wanted to, because he was waiting on me, because I stopped to pick up the training wheel. And, you know, I didn't say until we got over there, I said, dude, you handled that. And he was like, yeah. And I said, look at your training wheels. He looked down, and he was missing one, and he was all excited. So it's like, you can do this. Don't psych yourself out, right? But yeah, so that was the last time I think I rode my bike, and that would have been 2012, I think. Yeah, but you know, it still works. Went on a couple bike trails at a state park one time with the ex before that. It doesn't get a lot of use. It gets about as much use as my skates got for a long time when I was, you know, always psyching myself out on using them. What are you doing? Hey. Oh, yep, he's got grass on his. Right. So anyway, all that to say, it's like I have stuff in the sheds that I can start separating out and, you know, moving to a storage unit. So I'm not doing it today, of course, but I think in the next couple of weeks I'm going to work on getting that sorted out. You know, especially while I do have the SUV that I have the Escape that I can load up and take over there periodically. And you know, I was even thinking, like, because at one point, okay, whenever they go to leave for Oklahoma, my brother and Gracie, when they go to leave, I'm going to get Gracie's bed. It is a full size, so it'll be like a few inches shorter and narrower than the queen size that I currently have, but I have this old Tempur-Pedic mattress, one of the original ones, and it's like heavy as fuck. I can't move it by myself. And I've been thinking, it's like, if nothing else, it's like I'm completely not above, you know, moving all my shit by myself. That's how I did for painting my room and for moving stuff from the office to the bedroom when I was switching those. You know, I did have to have my brother help me on the desk, but I've been thinking, I manifested that thing in 2 weeks. I'm pretty confident I would have no problem manifesting another one when I get in a better situation. So I might just abandon that one with my parents, which would be fine for them, because then my mom wouldn't have to have the kitchen tied up all the time, which if my brother and I are not around and my brother's family, then they're going to have less people around anyway. So, which it's been a long time since anybody could eat in that space, so I don't know. But I was thinking, it's like I could pack up my puzzles and pack up my DVDs and move those to the storage unit, and just thinking about little odds and ends like that. It's like there's a lot of my stuff that I can shift out. I mean, it's all going to be my stuff that I'm leaving away. Like there's one of those freaking fire pits for the back porch that my brother and sister-in-law got for them, but they've never used because they got one themselves. So it's like, yeah, I'll take that since it's just sitting in there otherwise. There's some patio furniture that came back with me from Alabama. There's more stuff I can sell. My kitchen stuff, since I still have it, I couldn't get rid of any of that while she's around. So it's like, because as soon as I start looking at getting rid of stuff, then she's like looking at what I'm getting rid of and trying to hold on to it. There's no, what's a good example? Oh, the Foot Locker. Yeah, I was getting ready to post my Foot Locker for sale on Facebook because I figured I could get like at least $30 out of it. And she made a big deal about, well, don't get rid of that. If you're going to get rid of that, I'll use it. It's like, well, then it just ended up by Gracie's toy closet for a while without anything in it. So I put some of Gracie's toys in it, and I'm hanging on to it because she wasn't doing anything with it, and she told me, she talked me out of getting rid of it. She didn't care that it was, I was just expected to not get money out of it because I was supposed to give it to her instead, right? So she gets the free Foot Locker and I don't get the money, but I can't do anything else with it either because, yeah. So I still got the Foot Locker, and there is a cedar chest that I got when my dad's mom died, and it used to have this really shitty cushion on it that it was like the cushion was good and dead. So I finally ended up where we had it for a while, the dogs were jumping on it to look out the window, and I eventually pulled the pad completely off of it, and to keep them from scratching it up, I put it in there with Gracie's toys. So it's kind of a toy box at the moment, but it's like I can definitely move those things to that space and be able to, out of sight, out of mind, because there's so much shit otherwise in that house that it's like they're not gonna notice it if my stuff starts disappearing, especially because there's still so much shit, but there's a lot less of my shit than there was because I've been purging it, and they know that, so I can still be doing that process while I'm also packing boxes to take to the storage unit while they are not around. So now I have a game plan. It's like, obviously, I don't know how many months of this place I'll need, but I know that I can, I'll be able to handle it, I think, for the time it takes me to, the time it takes for the right pieces to fall into place so I can get out of there. Like I said, I feel like it's really soon. I had this moment where I was kind of arguing with my mom in my head after I left the room, and kind of saw her saying something to me about, well, she wouldn't help me with my hair again since I couldn't help her with her nails, and just being like, you know what, I knew the last time you helped me with my hair was the last time you were going to be helping me with my hair. So it's like, whatever I have to figure out after this, I'll figure out. And yeah, I don't know what it's all going to look like. I just know we're on our way out of this place, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know I now have a step that I can start moving in a certain direction on, so I can we went 1.42 miles so far. So, and we're still maybe not quite maybe a half mile from the car. Maybe we'll get 2 in, and then we have a challenge that we're doing for this month, which is a mile a day. No, 20 miles. 20 miles by the end of the month. So I figured it up as long as we're going at least like 3/4 of a mile every day, we'll get there. Especially because some days we do go longer. It's just resting good. But yeah, it's like I feel like I finally know the next step. So here in the next couple weeks, I'm going to start working on that and start, looking into the storage units around here. That'll be the biggest thing, because I feel like that whole algorithm thing. It's like if you are looking through things, other people in the nearby vicinity will start popping up ads for those. And I say that because there was one year my mom ordered me some stuff off of these online stores, and like one was a shirt that had a roller skate on it. It's like, I'm getting that. It just starts popping up these ideas. It's like, all right, yep, I'll definitely be getting that one. And I found I think like 3 or 4 of my gifts at least that way. So yeah. But she was just like, what the hell are we doing, Mom? And why? We've gone to slurping and on patrol. He's a good boy. I'm glad I came to this spot today. I did check in with my intuitive voice before I left the house, and it's like, okay, we're leaving early because we had the guy at the house putting the door on, and my dad was still there, so it's like, well, since he's still here and they're not supposed to be leaving until 12, I'm gonna walk the dogs and then do a video, and then we'll see how everything goes, right? So it all worked out. Yeah. You guys about ready to meander further? Oh, here we go. So Ziva has this little spot. Oh, she's gonna roll over, so I can't do anything with it. She had a spot where I think Taz grabbed a tuft of hair when somebody was at the door or whatever. She got in the way of his excitement, and he scalped her in this one little section. And it's not huge, but it's still maybe not even that big. Let's see, right there. I have figured out, I didn't think it was going to, but it is growing hair again. So yay, hair. Her little fuzzies is coming back. She's just like, we're good here. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, get out of there. Rude. Okay, since everybody's back up, maybe we'll go ahead and start venturing back to the car. You got it under your foot and under yours. We have it. Let's see if we can get down off of here without getting tied up in the leashes again. Okay, let's go. So yeah, game plan. But I'm really excited now because I realized that I was basically leaving myself the next bit of information for what I was going to do, right? Just, since I told that story about moving stuff out on my ex, and then as I started thinking about how my mom gets in the middle of everything, it's like, hey, I've already done this once. We're doing a do-over, but it's still going to have basically the same result, except for it's going to be my family that gets ousted from my life. Less they get ousted from my life, and more I evict myself from theirs. 444. or yeah. So I don't know. I'm really glad that I had that thought though. Now I feel like I have direction again. It's like, hey, ooh, something to do, something that will help us get ready to get out of here. Oh yeah, the bed thing. So when they go to leave, and I get the bed from them, I could just put it in the storage unit, and then I don't have to worry about figuring out how to get rid of the queen size that I am currently on. And I'll still have something to sleep on until I'm ready to shift the rest of the way out. So yeah, the plan is coming together, even though I don't really know much of anything. I just got to follow the path, right? So that is the next step. So that is the next step I will start working on. And I know there's a bunch of... Well, see, that's the other thing. If it does come up where they start noticing that kind of stuff is popping up on their things, then, I can always say that somebody I knew from Derby was talking about shifting to the area or something. They know I don't talk to very many of them anymore, but they don't know that I don't talk to any of them. So, and yeah, like the biggest thing is like, they don't need all the information that I have. And this version of me realizes that that's literally how my brother and I were unable to have lives, was because they always knew too much information, because we were taught that it meant we were doing something wrong if we had secrets from them. It's like, it's not that we were doing anything wrong. It was that our parents were assholes, really. Because, I've talked many times about my mom would get the information and then, they'd go talk shit about me and my brother to my grandparents, right? So, yeah. Ooh, smells flowery right here. Hey, you done sniffing? Come on. Oops. Probably won't do very many of these walking, because I feel like I don't keep a good solid train of thought while I'm walking near as well as I do when I'm skating. Just walking and talking. Probably because there's more distractions and I got to pay attention to if anybody else poops and I have to clean it up again. Or just if we get tied in a knot. Yeah, that's always fun. It is almost 12. So, yeah. My aunt asked if I'm still walking. And I got a message from the girl with the earring shop. So I'll back to her when I get that way and talk to my aunt, and the parents should be leaving, so I guess I should probably get off of here and check in to make sure the guy has also left. He said he thought it would take about an hour, but then that was dependent on if my dad had lost any of the pieces for the door or not. It sounded like they had that all figured out by the time I left, but I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day and go collect our poop bags so we can vacate this place and get out of here. Yeah. And then I'll go do yard work after I go into the yard work clothes without the crab earrings, even though I like them a lot. And the vulture shirt. Also, got to do laundry because, well, my plan, the non-servium shirts while I go to the family thing next time. So yeah. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya. Oh. Okay. Let me say it again. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya.